So Infinix invited me to my first ever phone event, and as fun and grateful I was for that, I still have to review their phones fair and square. And oh boy, this phone impressed me in so many ways. I honestly think this could be the phone for your everyday life. Let's check it out. Selamat pagi! Good morning everyone, Kenneth here and welcome to my full review of the Infinix Note40 Pro Plus. I've been using it for the past 2 weeks now, dropped a couple of shorts on my Instagram and TikTok. You've probably seen it around and I know your question. Is Infinix good? And is it worth spending $300 for? We'll answer the question throughout the video, but for now, please know that everything said is my own honest opinion. My full disclosure is down in the description below, and please click through the affiliate links there if you want to buy anything, because I may get a small commission at no extra cost to you. It really helps me keep the channel going, so thank you so much, and let's get started with what you get in the box. So aside from the phone, the 100-watt charger and its cable, which thankfully comes in USB-C, the package also comes with a magnetic charging puck called the MagPad, which works in tandem with the included case to provide a magnetic wireless charging solution, which is practically unheard of in this price range. But because the budget is limited, the magnets are actually not that strong, and it's actually in the case, not the phone itself. So if you want to change cases, you still have to buy one of those aftermarket MagSafe rings, and they also have this 3000 milliamp hour magnetic power bank called the MagPower. This is very thin and very nice to hold when set up, but don't expect it to charge your phone significantly because it's made to work in a pinch, and it also gets quite hot after a while, which is typical wireless charging problem. But coming back to the box now, I found it interesting to see a USB-C earphone in this day and age, but I want to talk about the curved tempered glass screen protector, which I don't have anymore now because it only has glues on the black sides, and you need to press them for 1-2 minutes for it to stick well, which is the instruction I did, but unfortunately it decided to just pop off, drop, and shatter in the event. So I've been using this without a screen protector, but thankfully the Gorilla Glass 5 here is amazing. I cannot see any micro scratches nor cracks, and I use it, I put it in my pocket, put it in my bag, throw it around a little bit. The oleophobic coating is also super nice, so finger glides smoothly over the screen. But I know what's your next question gonna be. A curved screen in 2024? This is quite a dividing decision from Infinix. But as someone who finally got to try and use a curved phone, I have to admit I'm a bit spoiled. It creates the impression that this phone is more expensive, and doing the back gesture feels pretty seamless. Okay, I have to admit, because there's no protection to the sides here, I do treat it a bit more like a baby compared to my other phones that I just really throw it around. But with the uniform bezels all around, the gold touches around the phone, the faux leather textured back even on the case here, it makes it look fantastic. And also the black color, But going back to the screen now, they've done a great job in preventing accidental touches, as I haven't had any so far, even when gaming. And the 1080p AMOLED screen here is gorgeous. There's in-display fingerprint sensor that works perfectly. It goes up to 1300 nits, so you can see under bright sunlight. And I don't know if there's any extra processing in games, but the colors pop more compared to what I'm used to with the Poco phones. Especially the M6 Pro I just reviewed here. I just use it as my teleprompter there. I guess the only thing missing here is the always on display, but yeah, I can always double tap to check the time. It's not that much difference anyway. One thing I wanted to highlight is the 120Hz refresh rate that depends on the processor, which for the most part is actually pretty smooth. But powered by Dimensity 7020, which is like the 5G version of Helio G99, you know what to expect in performance. Around 420k in Antutu and a touch above 2200 on multi-core Geekbench 6. It's enough for daily use. The 8 gigs of RAM and 250 gig storage will give you good social media and browsing experience, although it's sad to say that there's no SD card expansion here. But using it for light gaming, like in Mobile Legends, you can play at Super Ultra, which runs at 90 FPS. This is a setting that's not even there in Helio G99 phone, so I like that. And of course it got dips during fights, and when the phone gets 42 degrees warm, it actually plays closer to 80 FPS. But for the most part, it's a smooth-ish experience. Just know that more taxing games like Honkai Star Rail will play at sub 30 FPS, even at low to medium settings, especially in fight sequences. Still playable, but not ideal. And this is the use case where you'd want more performance, which is exactly this phone I'm reviewing next. If you know this, let me know in the comments below, and do subscribe so you don't miss my review gaming focused coming very soon. Still though, as a daily phone, I think the Infinix is still worth the premium over Poco M6 Pro with similar chip performance because it's got better build, even though it's still plastic, but it feels better. But I know it's completely subjective. What is objectively better is the charging experience and camera, which is just much better. We'll talk about it later. For now, let's start with the charging, where it supports 20 watts wireless charging, 100 watts wired charging, and it also supports reverse wireless charging. What makes it different than Xiaomi or Poco though, is that you're offered 3 charging modes on the pop-up animation every time you charge. It defaults to the smart mode, which charges 75% in 30 minutes, and the claim is 50% in 12 minutes, but know that the highest power is only used when the battery is empty. As it fills up, the power drops. Just like filling a bucket with water, once you're near full, you want to close the tap gradually so it won't spill. And it really is temperature dependent because the smart mode tries to keep the battery temperature around 38-39 degrees Celsius. The hyper mode ups that limit to 43 degrees, and here Infinix claims 50% in 8 minutes. And in my test, I got from 10 to 50% at the same time. So that's a little bit slower, but what's interesting is this is the temperature I get with the 67 watt Pocos, and the 120 watts ones could get much warmer, up to 45 or even above. Although yes, it does charge faster. The Poco F4 GT here fully charges in 15 minutes or less, while the Infinix could take 25 instead, because it really slows down after hit that 43 degrees limit, which is less impressive in numbers, but definitely will be good for your battery health down the line. Especially that it's got a 1600 charge cycle rating, so Infinix is making sure that you're gonna get years of good life out of the phone, and that's the most important thing to me personally. One thing that I really appreciate is this 100 watt charger being much more compact than the 120 watt charger we get with Xiaomi or Poco. It's actually about the same size as their 67 watt charger, which is actually very cool. You can bring this for your travels. It charges USB PD devices like my MacBook Pro at 45 watts. Okay, I know a lot of you are going to say, but it's only got 4600 milliamp hours. Seriously though, the phone could last me a day just fine, scrolling social media, browsing websites, even taking a few photos and videos here and there. And hey, if you need to top up 5 minutes, we'll give you back almost a day worth of charge. Finally, the phone also supports bypass charging, which is customizable in the gaming plugin. For example, you can set it to charge at just 30% power, only to 30% charge, which is amazing for gaming. Or I can see using it in Pro Take while doing long recording sessions. Just add the app as a game and you can use the feature to reduce heat. Moving on to the camera now, I'm just gonna say it straight, I really missed having an ultra wide here. On a lot of occasions, I subconsciously tapped to the left side of 1x but nothing happened. But let's talk about what we actually get, because this 108 megapixel sensor is quite the shooter. Here are a few sample shots straight out of the camera, and boy, these are much more natural and lifelike colors than the Poco M6 Pro. It's not even a comparison. Daylight shots are quite nice and sharp, the HDR processing is fast and looks decent, and instead of 2x zoom we got in 64 megapixel sensors, here we have 3x zoom instead, and the result again is not bad at all. Furthermore, the OIS definitely helps in enabling these good shots. Just remember to take pictures from the camera app first, because taking straight from WhatsApp or Instagram, for example, won't apply the same processing, even the HDR, so your snaps won't look as good anymore. Touching on other features, portraits or blurry backgrounds are great too. Thanks to the help of this 2 megapixel depth sensor, just remember you cannot adjust the blur after the shot. And my goodness, I don't even want to talk about this 2 megapixel macro lens. One thing I want to talk about, which I rarely touch on but found pretty cool here, is the 4 LED flash spread in a circle. You can set it to light up continuously in 3 brightness settings. It's super bright and it really helps in making a shot look more natural than otherwise you'd get from a single point LED. Now, turning into video capabilities, let's just check out the sample recording right now. So let's do a little camera test here as we're moving into the central market. So what do you think of the microphone quality? And that's how the front camera looks. Not yet. What do you think of the digital state? Alright, so this is a sample of video recording with ultra steady on, which is a combination of optical and digital state. And I'll switch over to optical only. Okay, so now we have been moved to optical stabilization only, and this is the difference. So the phone supports up to 2K 30fps max. I think the shots are good enough. They don't look over-processed or pale. The video stabilization is generally good too, especially with the ultra steady mode. And surprisingly, slow-mo also got more detail than the M6 Pro. All in all, completes the perfect everyday phone criteria for me. And in a fresh turn of events, there's no huge camera bump in play here. Everything is flush with the case. Even when you take out the case, you have this huge island that doesn't wobble when you put it on top of the table. Okay, we're almost at the end now. Let's talk about the XOS, which is the version of Android from Infinix. And I have to say, I really don't like how I cannot delete multiple apps from the homepage. If I want to move anything, I have to move them one by one, delete them one by one. Trust me, especially when I just transferred all my apps, I have like 10 pages of them full of apps. It was real annoying to delete one by one. Also, the -1 page is not Google Discover. There's no option to do that. Instead, you get their own version of widgets with little customization. At this point, if you don't like it, just download another phone launcher. But aside from that though, things have been pretty good. I like how the folders are more like a nest of apps where I can see the notifications and directly tap into them. And overall, the OS has been harmless. You know, it doesn't bog down the phone. It actually has less annoying notifications from what I'm used to with MIUI. And if there's any, you can always disable it. And it's also based on the latest Android 14. Infinix promises 2 years of major Android update till Android 16 and 3 years of security updates too. I think pretty good commitment to a budget phone in my opinion. But let me know, what do you think? Also, there are some nifty generative AI features, like when you select text, you can generate, optimize, or check your grammar, as well as generate your own AI wallpaper from a string of text. And yeah, along with reverse wireless charging, these are the things that you just don't usually find in phones at this budget. Finally, let's touch on other smaller features. Firstly, the circle inside the flash here actually lights up for notifications while gaming or charging, and a couple of other stuff. They call it the active halo lighting, which, well, actually is pretty cool. And it only turns on if you put your phone with the screen down. And then you get dual speakers tuned by JBL, which is a thing even for past Infinix phones. So let's check out the sound test right now, and you be the judge. So what do you think of this phone? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to use the affiliate links if you want to buy it. I'll put my Poco M6 Pro review here if you want the most performance for your money. And next up, subscribe for the Poco X6 Pro review, which is also a beast for this $300 price range. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kenneth, and I'll see you again in the next one.